Here's your wrestling news for November 16th, 2022. And we're starting off with NXT, and Mandy Rose was her ever-confident self this week, calling herself a 1 in a billion superstar during a backstage interview. Given her run as women's champion, it's hard to argue with the Toxic Attraction member, but many fans were more interested in what she was wearing. In a red and black outfit complete with hat, many fans compared the look to Nikki Bella, with some saying she was cosplaying the WWE Hall of Famer. Some fans even admitted that when they first saw the segment, they thought for a moment that it was Nikki, before quickly realizing that it was Rose instead. Like Mandy Rose, Nikki Bella enjoyed a lengthy reign as champion, with her Divas title reign being the longest ever, and we can't help but wonder if the Toxic Attraction member was paying tribute on this week's NXT. What did you make of Rose's attire, and was it a nod to Nikki Bella? Let us know in the comments. In May, Randy Orton went down with a severe back injury which has kept him out of the ring ever since, and there's been no sightings of the Viper on WWE TV. Matt Riddle has done his best to keep Orton's memory alive, but we've now received an update about the 14-time WWE World Champion. On social media, Kim Orton, Randy's wife, shared a happy anniversary message for her husband and included a photo of the Legend Killer in a hospital bed. PW Insider reports that Orton was in Birmingham, Alabama this week, which is where many of WWE's stars have gone when injured to see the esteemed Dr. Andrews. It hasn't been confirmed just exactly how bad his back problem is, but the fact that he's not back already is certainly a sign that the issue isn't a minor one. The plan was for Orton to turn on Riddle after they lost the Raw Tag Team titles to the Usos in May. Starting the feud, WWE had been pushing back for months, so we'll have to see if this feud ever happens as we draw closer to WrestleMania. Now today is a special anniversary in WWE, as November 16th marks exactly half a year since Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw. For a time, it was thought that the pair were done with WWE, but it's since been reported that both are expected to return under this new era led by Triple H. There's now been yet another twist in this story though, as when the official Twitter account for Comic-Con Revolution announced Banks will be appearing in May 2023, they referred to her by her real name, Mercedes Varnado. Referencing Banks by her real name outside of WWE isn't uncommon, but the announcement also said that she was formerly known as Sasha Banks. This certainly implies that Banks may no longer be with WWE, but neither she nor the company have confirmed that this is the case. Ultimately, fans will just have to keep waiting for Banks to return, as despite over a month of reports saying her comeback is just around the corner, it still hasn't been boss time for half a year. Banks hasn't been seen on WWE programming in 6 months, but the former women's champion is continuing to make waves outside of wrestling. The Boss has established herself as Koska Reeves in the Star Wars universe, and her latest non-WWE move is making headlines. PW Insider reports how on November 10th, Solnado Inc., Banks' company, applied for trademarks on the terms Mercedes Money, Money Talks, Bank Money, and Statement Maker. It's also worth noting that these trademarks were not related to anything to do with wrestling and are instead for goods such as shirts, toys, and entertainment. Banks is making moves away from the ring, but it is still believed she will return to WWE one day. But until then, fans could soon be picking up merchandise for Mercedes Varnado, not Sasha Banks. Whatever Banks has planned, she's keeping it close to the chest, but the popular superstar hasn't been afraid to give fans cryptic teases. On Twitter, Banks shared a simple thank you message, but without providing any context, fans are left wondering what she's thankful about. Banks making teases on social media is nothing new, as she recently shared a video in which she claimed that something huge is coming very soon, but whatever the Boss is thankful for is remaining a secret for the time being. Now, this year has seen a ton of released superstars return to the company, but it has also seen many wrestlers go down with injuries. Kevin Owens is just the latest name out, having suffered an MCL sprain at a WWE live event last weekend, which is believed to keep him out for 6 to 12 weeks. Owens joins the likes of Aaliyah, who shared images of a shoulder injury last month, believed to have been suffered during her and Raquel Rodriguez's title loss to Damage Control. Aaliyah has said that she doesn't know when she'll be back, and details of her injury are scarce, but Big E continues to be out since his broken neck in March, but is expected back soon as he's making a rapid recovery. Becky Lynch has been out with an arm injury since SummerSlam, but WWE's creative team are said to be optimistic that she won't need surgery and could return this year. Arguably, the biggest loss right now is Cody Rhodes, who tore his pectoral muscle while training in June. And despite WWE's claim of a March return, many believe he'll be back for the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul has proven himself in the ring but suffered a series of knee injuries at Crown Jewel, and it is believed he will be back in 6 months' time from his torn meniscus, MCL, and ACL. Natalya was written off TV with a broken nose attack recently, when the truth is that she had already planned a nasal surgery and will miss at least 3 months of action. Randy Orton continues to be absent with his back injury, and there's still no word on when he'll be back, with WWE's higher-ups growing more concerned by the day. Despite only recently moving to SmackDown, Rey Mysterio is now out with an ankle injury which has resulted in him being pulled from the World Cup, but he is only expected to miss a few weeks. Rick Boogs continues to be missing from WWE since his WrestleMania 38 torn quadriceps injury, and while he teased a return in August, sharing videos of his workout, that return is yet to happen. Robert Roode is expected to return soon, as he was backstage at last week's SmackDown after undergoing what was only described as a procedure in September. WWE may soon be glorious again, but it'll be many months before we see R-Truth after he suffered a torn quadriceps this month during his NXT match with Grayson Waller. Tiffany Stratton is expected to return to the white and gold brand very soon after she suffered a heel injury during a match with Wendy Chu. It was announced on Raw last month that Tommaso Ciampa is injured, and the former NXT champion recently underwent hip labrum surgery, which typically takes 6 to 9 months, but could take a whole year to fully recover from. Candice LeRae is rumored to be injured, as she was previously slated to be the 5th and final woman for Team Belair inside War Games, but the Poison Pixie is yet to be announced. Injuries in wrestling are bound to happen, but this year has been especially difficult, and we wish everyone listed a speedy recovery. We're just over 2 months away from the Royal Rumble, which is universally seen as the starting point on the road to WrestleMania. The 2 Rumble matches are always 2 of the most exciting bouts of the year, but recently, a supposed spoiler for the men's match emerged. On social media, an image was shared which claimed to be the running order for the men's Rumble match, which would have seen Cody Rhodes win the bout in his return from injury. Major names scheduled to appear include John Cena, CM Punk, Jay White, and Matt Cardona, but when checked, Ringside News learned that the document is a complete fabrication. While Cena and perhaps even Cardona are possible entrants, Punk is still signed to AEW at this time, and White is under contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We also seriously doubt WWE's Rumble timesheet tells superstars how long they should be in the match right down to the millisecond, and that the sheet claims that Brock Lesnar will attack CM Punk during the latter's entrance. With Punk almost certainly not going to appear and Lesnar rumored to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, this document is a clear fake, so you'll have to tune in on January 26th to learn who really wins. Over to AEW now, as Parker Boudreaux is making his name in the company mere months after his release from WWE. Outside of the ring, Boudreaux is a fan of gold and took to Twitter to show off his newest acquisition. In a video, the AEW star shared his purchases of a new necklace, ring, and watch from a custom jeweler and showed off his impressive physique in store as well. Parker was pleased with his purchase, but not everything has been good for him recently, as he was also the victim of a hit-and-run accident last weekend. Parker tweeted about the occurrence on Sunday night, adding that whoever attempted the hit-and-run will undoubtedly be found. In WWE, the ex-Harland was once considered a future main event player, but was cut after the company learned something about him. But whatever it is, it hasn't kept him from making it as a trust buster in AEW. For the past week, Stone Cold Steve Austin has been sharing videos of some pretty intense workouts, with growing speculation that he could compete at WrestleMania 39. It has been reported that WWE has spoken to the Texas Rattlesnake about competing, as all parties were impressed by what he did at WrestleMania 38, and we may have an idea of who Austin could face. According to sources, WWE has 2 names in mind for a match with Austin should the Rattlesnake agree, and those 2 names are John Cena and CM Punk. It's already been noted that Cena is expected to compete at WrestleMania 39, and WWE's reasoning is that this is a dream match and one they may not have the opportunity to do in the future. As for Punk, this is a match audiences have wanted to see since Punk's days with WWE, but this of course hinges on whether Punk would be free from AEW and willing to work for WWE. Addressing reports of WWE wanting an Austin match, Dave Meltzer said that there is smoke to that fire, and on social media, fans argued that Austin should face LA Knight, as the SmackDown superstar has proven himself to be gifted in the ring and on the mic. Some even went as far to say it could be akin to Austin versus The Rock, but it'll ultimately be Stone Cold and WWE's decision on who he faces next year, if a match happens. It was at this year's WrestleMania Austin faced Kevin Owens, who suffered an injury at a recent WWE Live event. Owens' injury comes at a time when the prize fighter wasn't being used on TV, but the promotion did have something big in store for him. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that Owens was going to be the fifth man for the Faces in the War Games, joining the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre. Not only was Owens going to compete, but he would have been the final man against the Bloodline, but obviously that won't be happening now. Owens has been in War Games before during a one-night return to NXT and excelled in the iconic match, but the former Universal Champion will have to wait until next year before he steps inside the double cage. In July, Vince McMahon's reign on top of wrestling came to an end following his retirement after allegations of misconduct with female employees. McMahon is alleged to have paid millions in NDAs to women, one of whom it is alleged he forced into performing sexual acts, but many haven't been surprised by the claims. Speaking with Vlad TV, Ken Shamrock was asked about the hush money scandal, and the world's most dangerous man wasn't too fazed by the reports. Anytime you have that much power, I think you're going to see things like that happen, and people take advantage of their power. It hasn't been a secret. I mean, there's always been allegations, and I don't think anybody really truly believes they weren't true. I think they just believe that they, like we know now, they were just paid off or, hush money, so this is no shock. I mean, we all live in this world, and it happens all the time. WWE have finally finished their investigation into McMahon, who has agreed to cover the costs, but has not publicly disclosed what the third-party investigation found when looking into the matter. Shamrock has been one of the few big names WWE has never brought back, and though Vince McMahon is gone, these comments may keep Stephanie McMahon hesitant to bring Ken back for a Hall of Fame induction. And we're ending today with Sasha Banks, and there's still no confirmation on when she'll be back on WWE TV or when she'll wrestle again, but one person hoping to see her soon is Saraya. It was just last week that the AEW star announced that she's medically cleared to wrestle nearly 5 years after a career-ending injury during a match with Banks. Speaking to Insight this week, Saraya told host Chris Van Vliet that she still wants a match with Banks after the host said they should wrestle again. That's what I said, in response to Van Vliet saying Banks and Saraya should wrestle. I really wanted to have that match with Sasha. I wanted to have that rematch with her because we have that built-in story. So I really wanted that. One day I'll have my match with Sasha. Of course, the big obstacle here is that Saraya is in AEW and Banks is at least believed to still be assigned to WWE, making a match between the two unlikely, if not impossible. As we've seen this year, though, anything can happen in wrestling, so don't count out a rematch between the two nearly 5 years after the tragic accident. Well, guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.